I can't tell you the exact weight in pounds or kilos that you should be using in the gym, but in this video, I'm gonna give you the tools and resources so you can figure it out yourself and be able to confidently choose the right amount of weight for you. But at the end of this video, you're gonna be 100% confident in your ability to choose the right amount of weight so that you'll be able to answer for yourself the question of, am I using too much weight or am I using too little weight? But before we dive into it, make sure that you remember this. Form first, load later. If you don't have the form down on an exercise or you're diving into a new exercise that you've never done before, get the form down first before you start adding weight or before you even care about if you're using enough weight. Make sure you have the form down first because I know you don't want to get injured because you're not going to see any results if you get injured. So make sure you get form first and then load later. One last thing before we dive into it, guys. Whether you're a client or not, you could always DM me a video of you performing an exercise in Instagram DMs and I'll give you some feedback or some tips on how you can improve your form. Or if you're just doing a perfect job, I'll tell you that. All right, now without further ado, I introduce to you RPE and RIR. Now these scales are gonna become your best friends for gauging whether or not you're going too heavy or too light. So at first it's gonna be a little bit overwhelming, right? All these numbers, but then you'll realize you're never actually looking for an exact number or to hit an exact number. You're looking to hit a range between 3 or 4 of these numbers. RPE right here is the rate of perceived exertion. It's just an intensity scale gauging on how much effort you're putting into an exercise. And RPE 10 would be absolute failure. You're lifting the heaviest amount of weight possible for 1 rep. And an RPE 1 would just be doing bicep curls with nothing in your hands. You can do that forever, so that's an RPE 1. RIR is reps left in reserved or reps left in the tank. This is how many reps you're leaving out. Instead of RPE is how much effort are you putting in, RIR is how many reps are you leaving out. How many more reps do you think you could have done? This is the one I like to focus on and I have my clients focus on because let's say an RIR 10, that means that's doing bicep curls with nothing in your hands. You're leaving 10 reps left in the tank. And RIR 0 is 0 reps left in the tank. That's lifting the heaviest thing possible for 1 rep. If you see the connection now, that's awesome. If not, don't worry. We're about to hop through 4 more examples and then 2 visual examples and then a way for you to test it yourself. I told you you're gonna be 100% confident in your ability to choose the correct amount of weight and you will be. A 10 on the RPE scale is a 0 on the RIR scale. Why? Because if you're giving an all-out max effort, right? A 10 RPE, that means you're doing the heaviest amount of weight possible for 1 rep. That means you're gonna have no more reps left in the tank, no more reps left in reserve. That's why it's a 0 on the RIR scale. And a 0 on the RIR scale is a 10 RPE. Why? Because if you're leaving 0 reps left in the tank, you have no more reps left in you. That means you're giving an all-out max effort RPE 10. Now think about this. You're doing bicep curls for 10 reps. You're doing 10 reps of bicep curls. Let's say when you get to that 10th rep, you think you could have done only 1 more rep, right? So that's a 1 RIR and a 9 RPE. We've been talking about just specific numbers on these scales, right? Now let's hop into a range. So if you're doing an exercise and it's a 6 to 10 RPE, that means you're leaving 0 to 4 reps left in the tank, right? Because a 6 to 10 on the RPE scale is a 0 to 4 on the RIR scale. So let's say you're doing bicep curls to 10 again, right? You get to that 10th rep and you think you could have done 0 more reps to 4 more reps. You think maybe you could have done 4 more max, but you don't know if that's between 0 or 4. That's gonna be a 0 to 4 RIR or a 6 to 10 RPE. Now, I just gave you an example of a range because that's where you wanna be in most of the time. You don't wanna be aiming for a specific number, but instead you wanna be aiming for a range. For RPE, that's gonna be anywhere from 6 to 10, and for RIR, that's gonna be anywhere from 0 to 4. I'd recommend using RIR unless RPE makes more sense for you, but for me, I think RIR makes more sense because at the end of the set, you could ask yourself, how many more did I think I could do? How many more reps could have I done? All right, we're gonna talk about failure and going to failure, 10 RPE, 0 RIR, really quick, and then we're gonna hop into a visual example of how you can test this out yourself to gauge how accurate you are with RPE or RIR. Now, when it comes to failure, we're gonna be talking about compound exercises and accessory and isolation exercises. You don't wanna be going to 10 RPE or 0 RIR or failure on your compound lifts more than I'd say once a month, if that, because it's gonna be super taxing on your muscles, your central nervous system, and it's gonna be harder to recover from. And you're gonna increase your chances of getting injured, and nobody wants to get injured because you're not gonna get any results while being injured. You're not gonna make much progress while being injured. But on your accessory and isolation lifts, like bicep curls, tricep extensions, leg curls, leg extensions, back and chest flies, any raises or cable kickbacks, even hip thrusts, you can absolutely go to 10 RPE, 0 RIR, or failure on those, because it's going to be less taxing on your muscles, less taxing on your central nervous system, and it's easier to recover from, and your chances of being injured are not that high on those exercises. So what that would look like is on, let's say you're working out your chest, you're doing bench and then flies, and that's going to be your chest day. Like that's your chest volume for the day. You wouldn't be going to failure on the bench press, but then on the last set of those chest flies, you could go to failure and be completely fine, and it might actually be beneficial to you to go to failure on the last set of the muscle group you're working that day. All right, so how can you test this right now or next time you go to the gym? This is how you can test it to ensure your accuracy or test your accuracy with RPE/RIR. So go grab some dumbbells that you think you can do 10 reps for while leaving only 0 to 4 reps left in the tank. That means when you get to 10 reps, you should only be able to do a maximum of 4 more reps after that. So go grab the dumbbells, I'll do it with you and show you how to do it. All right, once you got the dumbbells, start doing a set to 10 reps. And then once you get to 10, test yourself to see how many more you actually could have done. So I did 5 more reps after 10. That means I should have chose a weight that's a little bit higher than that. I mean, I could have done more than 5, but I would have had to start cheating and thrown form out the window. And that's not what you're looking for. So if you did that test, you got to 10 reps, and then you tested how many reps you could do after that, and you only got to 0 to 4 more reps, that's amazing. You're super accurate at testing your RP and RIR, and you have a good gauge of how much weight to use and how not to go too heavy or not to go too light. If you could do more than 4, like 5 to 6 to 7 more, then you have to increase the weight a little bit, but you're still pretty accurate. If you could do 8 more reps, that means you definitely have to increase the weight and work on your accuracy with choosing weight. This is gonna be the most safe and effective way to test out your RP and RIR on accessory and isolation lifts. It doesn't have to be bicep curls. You can test it out on any isolation or accessory lift that you want to gauge your accuracy in it. If you guys took value from this video and enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, and comment something down below.